Right, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and Red Corsairs to that 6+++ show. I am your host, Tom. I am back once again to talk all things 40k, or at least some things 40k, with a bunch of my friends from the wonderful Bang Average 6++ 40k team of somewhere in the middle-ish of England in different places, that kind of jam. Today, we're going to be playing a favourite game of ours, which is the old Room 101 40k edition. We're going to be talking units today, units that we want to put into a void, never to see again. And no doubt we'll have a very passionate argument with each other about. Before we get into that, we're going to do some self-promotion because we are very good at self-promotion, possibly the best. But before even that, I'm going to introduce the lovely people I'm on the show tonight with. And first and foremost, my dear leader Chris isn't here. He's off sleeping, which means I turn to the guy that would definitely instigate a coup first, the lovely Ed. Ed, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I have tried twice on stream to instigate, so that is very fair. I don't think you were there for either of them. So
but I enjoyed listening to it though. I was listening to it on the drive. I was like, good, he's finally getting it. Finally getting it.
get the digs in. Yeah, no, it's been busy. I was away with family the last 3 days, and outside of that, my life has been play some version of Warhammer and record videos about some version of Warhammer. Some of it's 40k. I've done some 40k stuff, but and then also order Warhammer. I've got 3 of the Doomstalkers arriving because teams way closer than I thought.
Canoptek boy, you love to see it. Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
That's about it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've not done much 40k because I went to Budapest for a stag do, which is, you might be able to hear it. You might just about be able to hear that the voice is not at optimal capacity. We found a very big sort of rock music venue in Budapest that was very good, but I'm too old to be shouting and headbanging, so I'm feeling that. But I've had a very good time. So congratulations to my mate Alex. I'm looking forward to your wedding. Now we're going to move it along to Rob, who's also here. Rob, how you doing?
Hey, good. Yeah, just having a chill after a nice long weekend. Had a night away from my 2-year-old, which was amazing for the first time. So I'm actually rested.
Yeah. What does your brain? Does your brain know what to do with that when you have it now?
I can switch off. My missus is a different story. As soon as I leave the house, it's done.
Very, very nice. Okay. And have you done any hobby?
I am probably about halfway through painting 20 mandrakes.
Yes.
So I've found this nice fluorescent paint. So they're nice and bright. All the runes are nice and glowy. So we'll see how they turn out.
Yeah, I need to build those and assemble mine as well, because I guess to have the proper base size, that's going to be important. Are you committing to running 20 mandrakes at ITT? Is that where we're at?
Maybe not ITT.
You keep flirting with the idea.
It's going to happen
any day now.
I might need to screen 30 Legionnaires soon.
You absolutely might. Yeah, you might need one great big old drop. I am also joined tonight by the inventor of the 40k 101 game, the lovely Jack. Jack, how are you doing, mama?
I am doing fantastically. To be credited as the creator of Room 101 is definitely not something that should be done to me. I do not want to get in any trouble with anyone famous than me, i.e. everyone.
And have you done any hobbying yourself lately, buddy?
Yeah, still chugging along with the GSC. We've got some acolytes done, we've got some Aberrant done, we've got an Abominant done.
Amazing.
We're doing a Saboteur at the moment. And maybe if Element Games pulls a finger out their arse and actually stocks the things that they say that they have on their website and sends out the Battle Force I ordered, I'll paint that as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
You know, maybe it'll appear next week. Maybe it'll appear the week after. We don't know.
It's a mystery. A mystery,
yeah, exactly.
For sure.
You gotta love the. I know it's not their fault; they just get sent whatever stock they get sent.
Yeah,
but, you gotta love third party retailers for.
It's a real ride trying to get stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, right. Well, before we go into our police roundup, I am just going to shout out an extremely busy chat. You're all going off. What's gotten into you? You've all had your Ribena. Mark Kirkham is in the chat. Okay, God help us all. Here comes Mark Kirkham. Come on then. Scrivo is in saying put Ed in 101. Existence UK is in calling Ed an alt boss because he is an alt boss now. Sam Royal's already got a suggestion suggesting binning off breaches, which is a bit harsh, I think. Andrew Bourbon's in. Lovely to have you here, Andrew Bourbon. That's really, really nice. Haven't seen you in here before. And Sharuni says Ed is stealth advertising Old World.
Nothing stealth about it, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's literally nailing your colours to the mast, right?
The fact that Ed seems to live in troll country is a bit,
it's so good. It's so good.
Oh! I hadn't noticed that. Isn't that fun?
And Gordon Chung says, is anyone else drinking wine and eating cheese? I wish I was. That sounds awesome. And then Mechanicus says, I thought Ed quit 40k for Old World because he kept losing.
No, Mechanicus, you've got it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
I've stopped playing 40k as much. I haven't quit it. I'm going to still be playing it. But I was losing on my Old World. A game that I'm much worse at.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ed's definitely been taking his licks in Old World. He's there for the love and the joy. Although
I think I've hit a point where I'm vaguely competent now, which is great.
Oh, awesome. That's good. That's very useful. I'm looking forward to. I haven't actually watched your event report video yet, but to get into the Plus roundup a little bit early. But I'm very excited to see what you've been learning. Perhaps then, Ed, you can take us to that Plusy promotional place right now and let us know what's been going on.
Well, let's start with the main channel. Since we've had last week's podcast, we had a review of the Steel City Terrain set. Chris walks through that. It's a good video, nice and long, gives you a full breakdown on everything you've got in there. A video here, not particularly interesting. Return of the Archon is something about Drukhari. Nobody likes Drukhari here, do they? No? Yes.
We love Drukhari.
Drukhari, they're the faction I'd put in Room 101. But yeah, another great Return of the Archon. Drukhari post data slate, how they've changed and how the meta's changed around them, what you might be interested in doing there. Then we've got a Crump and Debikis with the Bully Boys, one of the crack in the Codex.
Oh, yeah.
For one of the most competitively interesting detachments. Although, the more I see it, the more I think, actually, not as interesting as I thought it would be. I think I'm leaning towards maybe Green Tide.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I see what you mean on that. I think that book's got a way to evolve yet, is what I feel.
I think you're not wrong for playing a detachment that lets you run 18 meganobs and feel good about it. So whatever you do with that,
exactly. It's not a bad place to start, is it?
Oh no, you'll not have a bad time. Your opponents, maybe, but that's their fault. Then we had Scrivo's first episode of The Inner Circle, Why the Sun's the Lion, where he goes into his background history and sort of why he really likes Dark Angels. Great video. Would definitely recommend watching that one.
It's my favourite for this week because he really gets into his proper history. There's lots of lovely photos of all his special characters and converted units and armies across the last few years. It's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I say it's worth watching, I don't watch 40k content, so yeah, it's not just because I like him. It's genuinely worth a watch. Really enjoyed it. And then there was the other channel. So when I was on 2 weeks ago now, I think it was, I had just launched the new Old World ++ channel, where all of the 6++ Old World content will be. Great stuff. And since then, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 videos. So we've got 2 episodes of the Close Order podcast. At some point over the next week or two, I will be looking to put those on your regular podcast sites, if that's your preferred method of digestion. We've got a battle report, Ogre Kingdoms versus Warriors of Chaos. That's a sort of top-down White Dwarf, classic White Dwarf-esque with the explosion arrows and everything like that. Another one of those coming this week as well, probably Thursday, just because they take a long time to record. Then there was a list tech for the list that I took to the Squarebase GT. Weekend just gone. The one before that. Then a video about the things I learned at that event. What else was there? State of Play with James Ramsey. Absolutely lovely guy.
What a star.
Probably know him if you're watching this. Team England absolute hero. Obviously coaching this year, but has been a staple on that team for quite a while. He won back-to-back events with Vampire Counts, so talk to him about that. And then a great clickbait video with my face on a Fanatic today. 5 tips to make the most out of your Fanatics. And that's about what we've got.
That one I'm excited by as well. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't got over to Old World ++ yet, absolutely do, because I think it's the effort and energy Ed's putting into it is really first rate. So it's going to be one of the big deal channels of the Old World. I suspect. I think it's going to be really exciting to see it establish itself.
Yeah, I did some quick math. So it took 6 days to get the first 100 subs, 5 days to get the second 100.
Okay.
So at this rate, before the end of the month, I'll have overtaken the main channel and the day after that, I will have the most subs on YouTube.
Right,
It'll
okay.
go up exponentially.
Yeah, it's exponential. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We should witness a double event anytime soon.
Points. And
Yeah.
that's all I need to make spurious
When
activation.
you arranged this with Chris, I did message him saying we're going to live off of Ed's Old World channel, aren't we? I was like, this is how this is going to end. I can already tell.
Yeah, no, it's really fun to do. I'm having a blast.
Awesome. No, it's awesome, man. Okay, wonderful. Right, a few more shout outs in the chat before we move it forward into our game. I like that. Yeah, Sam Dunn said that Jack should read bedtime stories with a voice like Butter Velvet. I'm inclined to agree. Pickleaxe is in, and I think it's just Scrivo and Sharuni talking lots about Dark Angels, as far as I can see after that point. Wonderful stuff. So we're going to move it towards 40k 101 now. Jack, do you want to remind the listeners how 40k 101 the game works?
Okay, so have you ever seen something in 40k that you just can't stand for whatever reason?
Frequently.
Yeah.
Well, this is the game for you, because this is the game where you get the opportunity to try and convince the rest of the group to put a thing about 40k, today we're doing units, that you hate into Room 101. That is to say, banish it forever so that we never have to, it never needs to darken our doorway again.
Yep.
So what we're going to have is we're going to have 2 minutes to sort of argue your point. And then they're going to have a nice little vote to vaguely 2 minutes. I know how we get. But to argue your point, and then we're going to have a vote to see if it can go into Room 101. Now, obviously, there are 4 of us. Now, there could be a 2-2 tie. Now, in order to break this tie, we do polls in the YouTube chat. So, when each suggestion is made, we're going to make a YouTube poll, and you guys in the chat are going to vote on if you wanted to go into Room 101, say banish forever, never see it again, or keep it in the game. And if we have a 2-2 split, and last time I think almost all of them were 2-2 splits, we will be using you guys as a tiebreaker. So get ready to vote.
Fantastic stuff. Wonderful. Okay. Where do you want us to start, Jack? Who are we going with first?
I think Rob would be a good start.
Yeah,
for this
I
one.
agree. Let's get Rob in there.
Okay. So this is a cheeky little unit in the Sisters book
Oh.
that tend to just be in places. So if I told you could have a 130-point unit that has an effective 40 wounds, has 6 attacks each, can auto-advance with Fate Dice, can charge with Fate Dice, and if you do punch them, 2 little guys could come and stop you from doing that. So, of course, I'm talking about Arcoflagellants.
Yeah. Very nice.
They-
One off my list.
Oh, sorry, Jack in the chat. They're 160 points. Oh, that's completely reasonable.
Yeah,
isn't it?
they're fine now.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
fixed. They're fixed.
They are just so frustrating to play against when you pour so much firepower and combat into them, and they're still there.
Yeah.
I think I've mathed it out. My top unit that clears chaff doesn't even clear them. So Lilith and 30 Witches, hitting on 3s with full rerolls, wounding on 2s, kills 8 of them with Lilith as well.
And then they kill her back as well on the way out.
They
with
fight on
death.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I absolutely hate Arcoflagellants, and I think part of that is Jack's fault. Actually, Jack Dyke's fault.
Yeah, that's fair. I
So
feel
I do
the same.
blame him.
Yeah, I feel the same. Oh god, they're an obnoxious unit, aren't they? What do you guys think?
Yeah. Fuck them.
Are we just going to bin a bunch of units from armies we don't play? Is that how this episode's going to work?
I think
Look, I went for the low-hanging fruit here.
Yeah.
it's to go to bat for the Arcoflagellants, right? So they've been in the game since I first started playing, which wasn't like that long ago, but they've been in the game since 4th edition, 3rd edition or something.
Yeah.
Have they ever actually been used as a serious unit? I feel like this is the first time.
Yeah,
And
they
I
are
feel
a
like
bit of a gimmick.
They finally got their one moment in the sun, and they've suffered for so long. So I feel like they can have have their one moment, because when that maybe the codex comes out, maybe the new edition comes, and they're just going to be fucking useless again.
Jack,
Right?
Like suffering, isn't that the whole lore behind it?
Hey.
Right.
I think I liked Sisters more when nobody had them because they were really expensive metal models. I like the concept of Sisters as an army, and then people can play it against me and like, oh no, thank you.
Yeah, they're a funny one. I don't hate Arcoflagellants. I think in conjunction with all the other things, Sisters are one of those armies where it's just like the whole experience. You're just like, this is all really annoying. This whole thing that is happening to me is piece by piece very annoying. I don't know it's their fault more than a whole bunch of other things as well, but they are really, really annoying. And Fiorina Pains in general just really wind me up. I'd find them very frustrating to deal with. It's a good thing there's no more of those coming into the game at the moment.
And the existing ones got nerfed. It's fine, guys. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Oh man. Okay. Do we want to take a vote on this?
Yeah.
Ed, since you're in the seat of power, do you have the ability to put the polls up?
I know what to do. while I'm working this out, you vote amongst yourselves.
That's very reasonable.
Okay.
I'm going to quickly shout out Ashley Brown in the chat, who says, "Can I put forgetting 2CP interrupt in room 101? Love Ash." This is Ash the World Eaters player who I forgot could interrupt during a very melee intensive battle, and he very reasonably did interrupt, and we had a great game. Ash, it was a pleasure to play you, my man. That was really fun. I know I tell that story a little bit, but obviously it was a really, really fun game, so don't ever take me too seriously. What are you playing now, Ash? Is it still World Eaters? If so, how is that going? Let me know in the chat. That'd be really fun. For me, I'm not going to put Arcoflagellants in room 101. I don't think the criteria check out. I think they have a purpose. They have a role. I do think they're annoying, but I don't think I like the little place in which they sit in the model range as such for Sisters.
I think I agree. I don't think they're the most annoying unit in the list, honestly. Or just in Sisters. I think for me it's oh god, what's the leader of the Sisters called? I always forget. With a spear and a rocket shoulders.
Morven Val.
Oh, Morven Val.
Yeah. I don't even know if she's particularly incredible in this edition. I just have residual 9th edition.
Yeah.
PTSD.
Typically, they always make her and Celestine really flipping annoying to play against and give them a bunch of stuff. And I think that is broadly true this edition, but Morven Val may be a bit harder to use. Rob, are you standing by anybody?
I'm leaving in the bin. I've been hurt by them too much.
Yeah, they're going in the bin. Okay, Jack, where are you feeling?
I'm also not going to put them in the bin just because. Well, for two reasons. The first one is to save Ed from doing the poll.
Yeah, very nicely done.
I've worked out how to do it. It's live. You can't do it through the back end. That's
there you go.
No, the actual reason is I remember seeing them for so many years just not being used, and just like one of those random units that you just never ever see, and it was just a real shame to never see them. So the fact that they've got their moment in the sun, I think is not a good enough reason just to completely bin them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like the idea of 101ing something just because of its moment in the sun. I think it all comes around. I think I'm looking for more for binning things today. Mechanicus says spends a miracle dice and wins the poll. I mean, yeah, if you do that, there's literally nothing we can do about it. That's how those work.
Yeah, it turns out they won the poll. They get to stay.
Fantastic.
Right, so that is a no for Arcoflagellants.
Arcoflagellants escape. They escape. Purgatory.
I hope you all draw Jack Tight in your round 1.
I've stopped caring about winning games. I'd love to do that. He's such a lovely guy. Unless he's watching, in which case, ugh.
That's right. He won't actually finish a game against any 6+ spotters.
Oh no! That's so naughty.
That's just me, and he tables me in 3 turns.
Paul James, who failed to finish a game against our own 6+ player, the event before, is definitely culpable for the situation, I think. All right, okay. Should we move it along?
Yeah. Tom, you're up next.
Right. I'm starting with one. I've thought about this quite hard. And I'm going with the Toxicrene. The Toxicrene, for those that do not know, is a Tyranid monster with enormous fucking tentacles that go out the side of its face for like about probably more than a Land Raider's width out.
I think it's about 12-inch wide.
It's got enormous 12-inch tentacly arms. It doesn't in any way function on a game of 40k, but it cannot move anywhere. The tentacles can never fit anywhere. It's completely, utterly useless to the point that like, it's had quite good rules in like a couple of successive Tyranid books now, which have been completely irrelevant because it doesn't get past the fact that you can't actually move it anywhere or use it. Sam Dunn in the chat says you'll never fit the Toxicrene through the door into room 101, and I've got so much time for that. If you're just trying to stuff it in, and it's like, no, I won't go.
It seems like the sort of thing that you'd open the door and then just get pulled inside by the tentacles.
Yeah.
It's like trying to get a cat in a bath.
My feeling is like, yeah, it doesn't work. It's as a model and as a unit, it never seems to get there because it's just so stupid and non-functional. So as a mercy killing, I'm proposing that we put the Toxicrene away for good, so it doesn't have to spend more time on the shelf, accidentally knocking other models off.
It's my turn to counterpoint.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It was released after I stopped playing in 5th edition, and
Okay.
before I picked the game back up in 8th edition.
Okay.
And I think that 3 edition span, there wasn't much terrain on the table.
Ah.
So you could probably move it around. So really what you're saying is we should be putting terrain in the bin.
Or
And I can't get behind that, Tom. I think you've gone too far.
what about Tyranids in Old World on square bases? Would that help? But it could find a new home there.
Yeah, there's not much terrain. We're like six bits of terrain on a proper 6x4 foot table. None of this, 60 by 40 inches or 44. Disgusting.
Jack and Rob, what do you think?
So the problem I have with getting rid of the Toxicrene is that the Toxicrene can also be built into a Maliceptor.
Oh
which is
no!
actually quite good.
Damn it!
How is it?
So the problem is if we lose the Toxicrene,
We're taking one of the
particularly the
best
model.
mid-bugs away.
Yeah, we also lose the Maliceptor.
Oh no!
Honestly, I think 40% of Tyranid players are already on Suicide Watch. I don't think we can take away the Maliceptor.
I don't think they should be. I think they should just get better because we have got, some real proof in Bugwatch that it's just a skill diff.
It is obviously just as good.
really
Although,
good.
certainly in Bugwatch, the guys that Davey's been covering have definitely been running a fuck ton of Maliceptors.
That is true. You got me there.
Rob?
You know what? I really like the model. When I got into the hobby, I was like, that thing is fucking cool.
Yeah, right.
It's so like alien and like
It
terrifying.
is alien.
Like imagine seeing that.
It is
like,
alien. Yeah.
It's so thematic and big bugs are awesome. Like why else would you play Dids for the big bugs? That's the only reason I'll get brought over.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It doesn't sound like I'm going to win this vote, but I'm going to vote no. I'm going to vote put the Toxicrene in room 101. Yes, let's do that.
Okay, Ed, how you voting?
No, I'm pleased for it to stay out.
Yeah, let's keep it.
I also think I want to keep it. As
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
well.
That's very fair.
It
He
does
is quite
feel-
cute.
Yeah, it just feels like kicking the Tyranid players when they're down, really, doesn't it? So.
Chris Kaz said it's the ultimate hugger. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That it certainly is. I can't judge it for its Mr. Tickle-like nature.
All right.
Oh, now you've said that, I think I might have put it in. That's a bit 1990s BBC presenter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, when the investigations come through, maybe the Toxicrene will revisit. But until then, it's getting away with it.
Mm.
All right. Okay.
Ed, what is your first choice for Room 101?
So I thought I'd go with something really controversial. And when I was picking these, I wasn't going with what was necessarily good now, just what is, I think, thematically something I want gone from past and present and future versions of the game. So I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me on this one, but a new range of Marines was brought out towards the end of 9th edition. and they had big guns. They were called Desolation Marines. I don't know if you remember them.
Oh yes,
I know, really
Oh,
popular.
yes.
Most people probably want to keep those in, but they desolated me, and I want them gone.
I'm completely with you because they were just a delete from behind a wall button, and only Eldar should have that.
I don't think Eldar have that. Eldar have a really hurt you from behind.
Yeah.
Which I hate, but it's like at least it's got more limitations.
They also look stupid, don't they? The Desolation Marines. They're
God,
just
they're
not.
so dumb.
They're not good lookers at all.
No.
I think so. I got two things why I don't want this to happen. Right? But the first one is they're already in Room 101. They have been banished. we can't banish
let
them
them
any
out when I
harder.
talked about them.
Did we put them back in last time?
we can't banish them anymore, is what I'm saying. It's already gone. But the other reason that I want them to stay is they're one of the best units, unironically, to use an Anvil Siege Force.
Yeah, that is completely true.
And
No. All you're saying is there is a new dumb way to play this stupid fucking Oh, but you get to play Anvil. No one cares about Anvil. They care about not being tabled from behind the wall.
But there's Imperial Fist players out there that want to play
Yeah,
Anvil, and they
they just-
can't.
Imperial
They
Fist
can do.
player.
Yep.
I think you could probably run a pretty decent, like 3-2,
Yeah, well, you definitely can.
Anvil list without them.
For advice on how to do that, check out Ed's Deep Dive, where he covers the Anvil Siege Force in some depth and explores options just like this.
But not this Ed. The other Ed.
Ed W. What about second Ed? Lesser Ed.
The W is for wins games, and the F is for fucking old.
What do you think, Rob?
They're ugly as hell. And
They
they
are.
make no sense. Why is it 2 guns? And why do they keep it at 2 guns? Games Workshop don't know what to do with them. They're just either going to be really bad or really good, and there's going to be no middle. You can chuck them in the bin.
Which they're already in by the sounds of it.
Chuck
No
them
one's going to be
further in.
upset about it as well, because nobody bought them going, oh, what a cool model. What a great hobbying model that I'm going to... This is so
Everyone went.
representative of the fluff. People went, oh, I guess I've got to buy 20 of these if I want to win games. Sure.
No one bought them and said that because no one bought them because they didn't release them until they after they nerfed them. So everyone had a 3D print or a proxy or
it's true.
No, they came out in like a multi-part
start.
box.
There
didn't
was
they?
a splash release that had the Brutalis in. For
Oh,
which
yeah.
That was cool.
I
And
love that
then
model.
some other thing which escapes me, and then them. That was the thing.
God, yeah.
And the Brutalis was awesome, but that was not what made the list.
Make
In
Brutalis
fairness-
greats again.
I do think they look a bit better in person. To give them credit, they do look a little bit better in person. But yeah,
Okay.
they don't look amazing.
No.
I will say that much.
If you put a nice backdrop on this pile of dog feces and just get the light angled quite nice, it's almost artistic how bad it looks. Yeah, no, you're really selling me on that.
I think Jack is taking a very moderate and admirable tone throughout our throughout our nonsense today.
Who
And
are you?
I'm here to defend and encourage that for as long as it lasts. All right, should we take a vote?
Let's take a vote. I'm gonna say no.
You're keeping them out. Keeping them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put them in.
I
Just
am putting
this.
them in.
Yeah, no, they're going in, and also the internet will remember next time they're good. It's this fucker's fault. Like I want to see people come in. I want to be, at Jack in the comments when they get a buff. I want to see books.
To be fair, it would be pretty on brand if Marines got good again and people blamed the Tau player. That would be pretty on brand.
That's true.
So yeah.
This is all your fault. I think. I now think every time we run Room 101, we should just make sure we put Desolation Marines back in again.
Well, if I'm on, I probably will do that accidentally.
every single show. 40k terrain types. I would like to put Desolation Marines in Room 101.
So the problem with this terrain that we're talking about is there was a unit in 9th edition that just completely ruined the game.
So good. Oh dear, such a memory.
All right, I think it's my go then.
It is your go. It is your go.
So I was thinking about this, and to me, there's kind of 3 categories of units that can go in Room 101.
Okay.
There are units that are just like totally broken and annoying, and you just don't want to see them anymore because they're just such a pain to deal with. there are units that you see all the time, and you're just sick of them. And then the third category is just units that are sad, much like the Toxicrene. It's a mercy killing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and my first vote for the Toxicrene is possibly the least taken unit in 40k. I think
Okay.
something that's entirely pointless and probably shouldn't exist, and no one would notice it if they removed it from their index. And that is the Thousand Suns Mauler Fiend.
Oh, that is very reasonable.
Talk about something that just doesn't synergize like in
Yeah.
any way with the rest of the codex
Literally
or
no
index
function.
at all.
Yeah.
Has anyone run Wall of Fiend? with
I've
Thousand Suns?
I've never seen it attempted, because even if you were taking a unit that was like not a Cabal unit, you'd at least want guns, right, to go with the general shooty. Although you'd think Thousand Suns, they don't have much melee, they could probably do with some melee counterpunch, and yet no, that's no role for it. And I've never seen one. I have never seen one at any stage in any list at any time. Anyone going to Saffron Slam who wants to try that out, give that a go.
I had to like double check the actual PDF to make sure that it wasn't a mistake and this unit actually existed. Because to me, there's no like if you're going to take a combat unit in Thousand Suns, you might as well take one that like you can take something like the Mutileth Vortex Beast.
Yes, yeah, completely.
And then you already get a benefit, or just take like some kind of character like Magnus who can actually be a wizard as well.
Yes,
So
100%.
But Jack, did you know that this can heroic intervene for free?
Is that his data sheet ability?
Yeah, I'm just looking it up.
You know what? One of them skulking around to protect your wizards on a point. That's not. I mean, they'll die first, and then he'll swing to avenge them. But it's not nothing.
The
Better
melee
than I could have possibly imagined.
The
I
melee
don't even need to make an
not
argument
bad.
after that.
The
Yeah.
problem is that you can't hide it
Yes.
in an army that doesn't really give any other shooting targets up.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe
Ever?
3 of them running out in front of Magnus. Buy Magnus a bit of time.
Or you can have 4 wizards.
Or you can have a bunch of wizards that do incredible things. Yeah. I like this angle, Jack. I'm with you on this. I think the mercy killing angle is kind of how I ended up thinking about quite a few of these, and I think you've got a strong case here.
I think maybe we should go to the vote then, because I've run out of things to say for it.
Counterpoint.
Counterpoint.
Thousand Suns have, I think, 7 model kits.
This isn't even one of their model kits. It's one they've nicked from another range.
But
That
this
makes
kit
it worse.
could make the Forge Fiend though as well.
Yeah, they need to
Come back
release.
full
They
circle.
need to release disc wizards with swords, and we all know it. And then they can have a counterpunch or a psychic dreadnought or something like that.
They had one. It was Forge World, and then it went away.
Ah, yeah, that it did. Invent it again, so that the money goes to the correct part of the Games Workshop company. Okay, what are you voting, Jack?
Oh, I did get it in there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would notice if we did. If
Yeah, it's completely true. I'm with you. I'm voting get it in there as well.
Yeah, get it in there.
I'm morally opposed. I'm the last bastion of I'd like you to have more than 4 data sheets.
They're not acting like they want more than 4 data sheets at the moment, man. They're just shoving characters
Look,
in.
Tom,
Yeah.
if your friend's ill, if he's got a problem, you don't go, oh yeah, no, I'll support you in your problem. You know, you're there for them. You try and give them other options. You say, look, mate, all these Cabal points, they're not good for you. You know, yeah, you feel
I can
great
quit
now,
anytime I want. I just don't want to.
but
If
you
you have
know,
a sick dog,
that's not Thousand Suns.
That's the other one.
Hardback.
Oh,
Mutileth
poor
Vortex.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the Mauler Fiend.
I wonder if anyone will propose any admate units tonight. Okay, so the Mauler Fiend goes into Room 101, joining the Desolation Marines, and the Toxicrene escaped because we couldn't fit it because of its big flipping tentacly arms. And then what was the first option? I forget what your initial one was, Rob. It was Arcos Flagellants, who have escaped as well. So a 50-50 split so far. We're ready for round 2. Let's do it.
That was just as for those listening at home. It was the most definitive vote for yes
really
was
was.
the Mauler Fiend on the chat.
100%.
The chat is very pro getting rid of the Thousand Suns.
I'm disappointed in you.
That's
All
good
of
to
it.
hear. Have the chat diverged from us at any point, or have they been broadly doing the same sorts of things?
Pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same.
Okay. So, back to Rob then, I guess. Rob, what's your
Wonderful.
second choice?
All right. I'm going for a completely selfish one here. It's the Tantalus.
Oh no! Oh mate!
It is a fucking absolutely lovely model when you see people's Tantaluses. But the pictures of people trying to build Tantaluses is horrible because
it
it's the
was-
worst thing you've
it was-
ever fucking built.
Absolutely harrowing. It was one of the most horrible things that's ever happened.
I think they're actually decent, so I want to get one, but I don't want to get one. It's
Right.
one of those things that are just on the fucking cusp for me.
They really are.
It's we all know it's the only Forge World left for Drukhari. It's gonna
It
go.
is.
It's gonna
It
go
will go.
Legends. It's gonna
It
go
will go.
Legends. It's a shit kit. It's beautiful. Hopefully we get a plastic one.
That can also be built with Vect on it, right?
Yes, little Dasis of Destruction with some Incubi on there. Be awesome.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't want an excuse to buy one, and I don't want them to get any better because I already want to run one of them.
I wonder how many will agree with this incredibly niche standpoint on the Tantalus. Ed, what do you think?
I tell my wife and kids hello. I'm incredibly beige on this one. I got nothing. I think that might be a 15-year-old reference.
Jack, how do you feel about the Tantalus?
Tantalus is a weird one. I've played against it once, and it was like a beautiful conversion of some fantasy kits smashed together with some Dark Eldar kits, and it's absolutely awesome. And it came in from Deep Strike, made a 9-inch charge, and did 12 mortal wounds to my class with it, and it was the scariest thing ever. And then it didn't do anything for us the game; it just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird one because it was a lot of fun to play against. It was a lot of fun to see.
Yes.
But it then became very sad very quickly.
It needs a very specific amount of board space, or it doesn't really work.
Yeah, this was pre Sky Splinter as well. I think it's a lot better in Sky Splinter.
It's actually very good in Sky Splinter. Yeah.
So I think I'm happy for it to stay around simply because I think Games Workshop is going to mercy kill it anyway when it comes around to legending things.
Yeah.
So let's just give it.
Let's let it have its last couple of walks around the garden, right? I think.
Yeah, let's give it that one steak dinner and dog bowl.
There's absolutely no point taking drastic action here. It's on borrowed time for sure.
Well, in that case, I vote yes. So we've got a hung parliament, and we leave it down to.
Oh no, the chat will have to decide because we've been way more decisive this time than we were last time.
I've only just put it up, so maybe we move on to the next one.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll move on. Chat, tell us what to do about the Tantalus. All right.
His chat is deciding destiny today. All right, you're up next.
Right, my next one. So, continuing in the mercy killing vein, there's an army. It's quite good in the game right now, called the Grey Knights. And one of the reasons they're good is that they've got a bunch of glorious dreadnoughts, quite big walkers, psychers, teleport around, cool guns, all very theme. You can also take a venerable dreadnought in Grey Knights, who's just this little stubby, tiny little metal box from many, many years ago, who's just a guy with a las cannon that really wants to be involved. And unsurprisingly, he's not making the cut in Grey Knights at the moment because obviously you want to run Dreadknights, and Dreadknights are very cool. Or you want to run the other Grey Knights units. And he's a bit like the Thousand Sons of Morlothine. I just look at this guy and think, what is the point of you? It's time for you to be sort of lovingly and carefully put down. That is my stance. I don't really see any point for it there. I think it should go.
So my last 40k army in 5th edition was Grey Knights. And some of you at home who remember 5th edition might be like, oh yeah, that checks out. This dickhead. I was not competitive when I was playing in 5th edition. I had no idea they were good. I don't know if you remember the internet, was that 15 years ago now? 14 years ago. It was really hard to find out what was good.
Yeah.
I just went, these are awesome. Psy cannons? And I can vote. Every model can have a Psy cannon. So I just built a stupid list that was 5 squads of 5 Terminators, all with a Psy cannon, 2 Inquisitors with Psy cannons, and then 2 Venerable Dreadnoughts with Assault cannons upgraded to have Psybolt ammo. and that was great, and I had a fantastic time. And yeah, I don't really have a point, but I love the models. I love dreadnoughts. My online handle.
I also,
dreadnoughts.
it's worth saying, I have 3 Crimson Fist ironclad dreadnoughts who no longer exist, and they too they just reached a point where they just weren't. They were not relevant. There were things twice their size walking around doing literally their job.
Yeah.
And it just reaches a time where it's time for you to become a shelf dreadnought rather than a battlefield dreadnought, I think.
They already are. You don't need to take it out of the game for that.
Exactly.
I'm actually in the same boat as Ed here, because I was also going to bring up 5th edition Grey Knights, because I remember playing that game and just getting started with the like competitive journey. And I remember listening to like 40k podcasts and stuff, and them telling me about this dreadnought with, I think it was twin-linked autocannons or something with side cannons. So I remember because people did the conversion where they took the Planet Strike Icarus assault cannon, split it in half, and put each one on the arms, and it looked really goofy. But yeah, I remember people taking that, and it was just the worst because people run like as many of them as they physically could, and then they just play the game as that. And now it's just, what have you become? You are just, it's an old decrepit man, bitter in the corner.
People used to be terrified of you, and now
yeah. I mean, it's
now
just...
the Terminators are bigger than him.
No, they're not. The models are still the same one.
And it's just a little bit sad, really.
Yeah.
So I think this is the equivalent of like like euthanizing a 90-year-old Nazi, right? Like this it was evil in the past, right?
It's done
and now
terrible
it's
things
sad.
once, and now it's like your time has come.
And now we're getting rid of it.
No one else blinked when he was like, yes.
I was wondering where that was going.
In my journey to Argentina, I did have a whip round all of the post with a blunderbuss. What are you talking about?
Reports of Jack fighting Nazis overseas old Nazis overseas can neither be confirmed nor denied by 6++. What he does on his own time is his business.
Can you move metal with your mind?
He's Magneto, fucking hell.
Excuse me.
God, Magneto would have been dangerous in 90s Warhammer.
Oh, God, yeah. He's fine. He probably would have died of lead poisoning.
Yeah.
I think he was puked by that point, but...
Rob, do you have any strong feelings about the Grey Knights Venerable Dreadnought?
You know what? Not the Grey Knights one in particular, but I have a very soft spot for Boxnauts. I have an old metal one up there that I've lovingly restored from my childhood. It weighs about 5 kilos. It's I don't know. I just really like the models. There's so much nostalgia with them, and I know it's just a bit of just showing my age, but yeah, I just like the nostalgia of them. So I think we should keep them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. John says put it in a sock.
The Dreadnought in a sock.
That's the classic Dreadnought in a sock.
Yeah, Dreadnought in a sock.
Beat you at Warhammer? Dreadnought in a sock.
Dreadnought in a sock.
Put it in a sock and we'll swing it around our heads to yeet it into room 101.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we take the vote? I'm standing by my proposal. I want it to go into room 101. I want it gone.
I'm against. It's a beautiful model from a beautiful time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Ed. Let's keep it. Let's leave the Boxnauts.
For the crimes of its past, I will get up to room 101.
Which means you, the listener, once again need to vote and decide.
So they have
the Venerable Dreadnought. Have they
we
voted?
Had 12 votes.
Okay, and what are they doing?
6 were yes, and 6 were no.
Oh no!
Next vote wins.
Tune in. No, I've entered the poll.
Oh my word!
Away from me. If you want to find out whether this goes into into room 101, you're gonna have to tune into the next episode, where the first thing we're gonna vote on is the Boxnaut. You'll see if our opinions change in 3 or 4 months' time. Do tune into the next one.
Absolutely amazing. Sam Dunn says, "I will sub to save it." Sam Dunn, we're fully open to bribery. If you sub, then we will recover the Boxnaut.
next chat membership or £1 super chat gets to
100%, whatever. Yeah, Those are the
How was
same.
the Tantalus vote, by the way?
It was 66% no.
So
it's not
Tantalus
going in.
is safe.
Yeah, I think
Fairly
that, I
merciful
think,
to
I think
No,
that's
because
good.
it was 3-1. I was the only holdout for that one, wasn't I?
No, I was as well.
No. They split.
It was split,
Huh.
wasn't it?
I should listen instead of talk.
Oh no! Don't change. Don't change
change.
now. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Magnus Carlson's in the chat. Lovely to have you here, Magnus. Welcome. I think
Chess, child's game. Play something hard like Warhammer.
All right, whose goes it now?
It's Ed's go.
I've been beaten by people who I don't think can read or write properly, so that is a little tongue in cheek. What's my next one? So this is just an amalgamation of all of my feelings across the last 3 editions for Ynnari. And
here we go. Here it comes.
I want the Incarn to go.
I knew it. I knew
wanted
you'd
to go
come
so
from a
much.
boy.
I checked how to pronounce it. I got it right for the first time in recorded 6++ history. I pronounced it wrong every other time.
So is it Yinkan?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, interesting. That makes sense, I guess, with Ynnari, and I've never done that either.
Do you remember Soulburst?
Yes.
That was when you killed a unit and then you got to move or shoot or fight again. And that was just terrible. And then they got rid of that. And
that
then
was
they just went,
insane.
how can we make people miserable but kind of limit the misery? And yeah, Incarn. And just, it needs to go away. I know it's kind of gone away, but it hasn't really. It's still kind of fine. As Eldar gets successive nerfs, that datasheet's probably coming back out of the bin. So, for the love of God.
Eldar, man. Just keep coming back.
Yeah, it is the
They
problem.
do.
With an incredibly fast army. Who could have
For a
seen...
dying race, they get a lot of callbacks, don't they? They really do. I think I have a feeling that I know how we're going to divide up on this one. Rob, what do you think about putting the Incarn into Room 101?
The Yinkan is so much fun to play. I haven't
it's
played him in
amazing.
10th, admittedly,
It's
but
so good.
I used to play like you could put him in the Drukhari army in
Yeah.
9th. It
Why
was
can we
great
not do
fun.
that now?
It
It's
wasn't
suck.
good. It was just fun. Just
Yeah,
teleporting around, doing random shit and bouncing off things by accident. It was good fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's
been early 9th Yinkan, but the rest of the Yinkan, it's just fun to play.
it's the
different.
the interaction of it with artillery specifically is what's been so toxic in 10th than in previous editions where the artillery in Eldar wasn't quite as loopy, and also the Incarn's rules were a bit less loopy, and also Eldar's rules were a bit less loopy, and also Eldar's general state of balance was maybe mildly better. It wasn't quite as bad. It was a lot more fun back then, I would say. What do you think, Jack?
Now Eldar's only opportunity to do that because their indirect is gone is to teleport warp spiders 24 inches.
Yes, exactly. They have to kill you with all the other ways they have instead.
You will not see me arguing to save an Eldar unit. Not now. Not ever.
Ed's played his audience really well there.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, the amount of times I spent shooting an entire army at an Incarn only to kill with the last unit, and they're like, "Well, you got it. You killed it." And I'm like, "Yeah, it just took my entire army for."
And
an
now I'm going to
entire
get
turn,
rolled. Yeah.
and now I lose. So, and you know, the absolute like mind fuck of trying to work out like, is it going to come up here? Is it going to come up there? And you know, that 1 in 3 games or 2 games where you just make a mistake and it's just completely in the wrong place. And you know, the Eldar player will only say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" so many times before they just push your shit in because they can't resist it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So yeah, I mean, I'm all for the Incarn fucking right off.
Okay, so chat, we will have another poll vote, and I am obliged to point out that the venerable dreadnought of Grey Knights has been saved because Sam Dunn has become a member, tipping the scales. So very well done, Sam Dunn. You can stay. You're one of the good ones, and the venerable dreadnought certainly agrees. That's really, really funny. I've got a lot of time for that.
Nice holiday home for you in Argentina.
Jack, don't threaten the viewers.
I think you were talking about the venerable dreadnoughts. Just be clear.
The venerable dreadnought. That's
Venerable
fine.
dreadnought.
That's fine.
Our viewers are neither Nazis, nor are we going to murder them. Fully transparent there.
Yeah, 6 denies Nazi murder allegation. Oh dear God!
Don't deny him too hard though.
No, just a little bit, just enough to keep people happy. Right. Okay. So there should be a poll open now for the Yinkan.
There is, and it's 67% gone.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, but I feel like that's people voting, with the very recent past in mind. It's not.
Yeah,
that bad.
only 10th edition and 9th edition and possibly 8th edition. Like,
I think it was okay. It was okay. It was never
Fine in
it was never like top tier in 9th. It was okay. It's always an annoying unit to play against. I'll give it that. But I think some things should be annoying to play against personally. It sounds like the people have decided anyway, so I'll shut up. Is that the end of this round, or have we got one more?
Jack?
I've got my go.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Jack, do you want to go?
So as I said, I've got 3 categories here. I'm going to try and pick one from each, depending on what other people pick here. So this is the unit that I cannot stand it. I just want it to be gone from the game forever. But I know that no matter how long we play this 10th edition game, it's just going to be here, and it's never going to go away.
I'm excited. What's this?
It's the Wayleaper, Eldar Wayleaper.
Ah, very good. Very, very good. Yeah.
My problem with the Wayleaper is that he is so ridiculously good. There is no there's no power points you can put on the Wayleaper to make it so that people won't take him. You could make it 200 points, and people would probably still take it in a lot of lists, and they would just complain that it's too expensive for the resilience you get, which you've got to be right at that point.
Yeah.
There's just no way to balance a model with a data sheet ability like that powerful that also combines, with lone operative and insane movement and, the auto 6-inch advance, the fate dice for damage on the fusion gun, the
grenade keyword as well.
The grenade keyword. Like just everything coming together. It's just absolutely, it does everything. It slices, it dices, it ruins games of 40k. Yeah. Like, I just don't want to see it anymore.
You can balance it with points. If you put it to 2001 points, I don't think a single competitive player will ever play one ever again.
True. That is true. Unfortunately, the tiers of Eldar players would just be so overwhelming. But I guess what I'm saying is putting it to like a ridiculously expensive cost doesn't fix it either, because making it untakeable isn't fixing it. And I do think, like, I know a lot of people say points fixes everything, but I do think that there comes a limit to that. I don't think you can make a custodian model 10 points and you can't make a toughness 3 model with 4 wounds or 5 wounds, whatever it is. 350 points, right? There is a limit to what you can do. And I just don't think there's any way that model is ever going to be balanced. It's just going to be unusable or almost auto-include. So fuck it off.
Yeah, for sure. Mega Miniatures in the chat says that Tony Chu plays 2 of them. And it's an incredibly good dead sheet even before you put the other nonsense onto it. I think in the same sort of way as Fugan, that just cheap, annoying, but obviously Lone Up as well, cheap, annoying, fast, capable of killing a tank on its own. It's a ridiculous thing. I remember when I was playing Votann during the worst Eldar times, you would have games where you're genuinely, one of your proudest moments in game is managing to kill Wayleaper for the first time around turn 3, as all of your vehicles are exploding, your Hearthguard are being picked off, everything is going brutally wrong. You're like, well, fucking at least Wayleaper's almost dead. We'll get him next.
CP for you.
No CP for you. We'll get him next time. And it was nuts. It was like a mini game that you were obliged to play whilst being tabled, and you didn't really get to do anything else in some of the matchups. It was absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so I have a feeling we might be able to get away with getting this guy in
so there's some voices in the chat speaking up saying that it's 2 edition focused, and what I have to say to you is that he's so obnoxious that his it just transcends editions and makes it annoying, like to the point where I don't want to see it ever again in any other edition. It caused inter-editional trauma in me, and I'm going to feel it for years and years to come. So I just really, really don't want to see it anymore, please.
Jack's unborn children are just, a shiver has gone through them that they've thought of Eldar again.
All right. Let's get a vote on. Jack, what you...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sack him off.
I'm going to say keep him because he's the only thing stopping people from running Yunari.
It's a good spot, Rob. It's a good spot. Yeah.
Yunari might be better than Eldar at the moment.
We don't want that. We don't want 130 point Scourge. We don't need that. Oh God,
that is a fair point, actually.
Yeah, I actually might have to flip flop and vote for keep it on that basis as well to protect Drukhari from further points rises.
Well, God, I hate Yunari though. So I'm in an impossible choice here. I don't know which way to go. I think because we'll see more Yunari players if he's banned or if he's binned even. I think I've got to say no.
Yeah, but Yunari's shit.
It's not. In
comparison to regular. No, because this is an issue with Scourges. That's not an issue with Yunari. Yunari doesn't actually have any rules in this edition. It's just you can take Drukhari in your Eldar army, which is
they've got that little bit like tanky blender brick with the Vizark and
the Harlequin troop with the rain in is very good.
And then you've got not Shadow Spectres, the Dark Eldar version of Shadow Spectres.
Dark Eldar Shadow Spectres. There's a lot going on in there.
I think I'm going to vote no, and I do so reluctantly, under duress. But,
so the Wayleaper has phantasmed out of Room 101 here.
It's okay, though, because the chat has saved us.
Yeah.
There's 67% to put the entire Eldar Codex in Room 101.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
that will do it. Okay. So is that the end of this round?
Yes.
Wonderful. Before we move on to the next one, I just want to say a quick thanks to all of you for listening in and watching. This is a reminder that if you could hit like and subscribe and all of that good stuff on the internet, that helps our numbers look pretty, which makes us happy and makes us keep doing this. So it'd be really lovely if you could do that. And do leave comments if there's any units that we didn't cover that you'd like to see in Room 101 in the future, then do fire those in as well. As the wonderful Sam Dunn has demonstrated, you can sign up to be a YouTube member and support us that way as well. Thank you so much, everyone who's signed up and supported us so far. It's really, really cool to have so many of you backing us. And again, it's building a lot of energy and excitement behind the scenes. We're building and making more content and more plans than ever before. So if you want to help make that happen, then do sign up on the membership there as well. Wonderful. Okay, we will move along to the next round. Let's go.
All right. This one, it's kind of like a category that irks me, and I've just picked the one that's probably the worst offender. It's the Caladius Assassin. It is that epic hero who's in absolutely every Imperium army. They're a great model. That's why everyone takes them. But how can an epic hero be absolutely everywhere? I just don't like that it applies to every army and it keeps every army up.
Completely. And it's lone op. It jumps up and down. It can do a whole bunch of things. It's got a good flamer. It's very obnoxious. And it's just like all of those things that are annoying about this edition. Yeah, just have all of them. Just chuck all of them on the one model. I think the Assassins this time, it's that classic example of like the problem you always have in 40k, especially as a competitive game. It's like either there's something niche that you literally never see, or you see it so much that you just hate it and no longer have any interest. Assassins, right, for a long time, you just wouldn't see him. I remember when my mate Gareth took a Vindicare and just put it on a building in the middle of the board, and I flew a Hemlock Wraithvater up to it and just burned him to death. And that was like the only time I ever saw one. And then, but now they're everywhere, and it's only that one.
It's only that one.
So here's a fun story about Caladius Assassin that came up to me at the last weekend at the Saffron Slam. So I was playing against an absolutely delightful Grey Knight player, and he was using a Caladius Assassin to hold his home objective in sort of like turn 3-4ish. And I drew Capture Enemy Outpost, and my Ghost Keel was right there, and I was like, ho! I can put my Ghost Keel over here and charge, and that'll steal the objective from him because it's only OC1. Thumbs up. Now, my Ghost Keel had 8 wounds left after being shot by a Dread Knight, and he'd used both of his drones, so he had no damage ignores. So he charged in, and he rolled a bloody double 6 and absolutely smashed it, got straight on that objective, got his tank shock, got 2 mortal wounds through. No worries, I just need to stay alive. The Assassin, with its 5 attacks, or 4 attacks, whatever it was, it rolled 1 lethal, and then the rest of them were all 5-ups to wound. And I thought, that's pretty. That's okay. Well, that's not too bad. What's the AP on that? 4. Why is it 4? Okay, no worries. I'll just have to roll a single 6.
It's
sixes.
AP4 for assassinating people, Jack.
0 6s. That's like 8 wounds, and I die, and I'm like, great. But then I exploded and I killed it. So, I may not have got captured in the outpost, but I did prevent him holding his home objective.
That's amazing.
This doesn't really. This is not really an against for Room 101. It's a 4 because that was incredibly hilarious, and I want that to happen again. So it's given me joy.
That's a very good anecdote. I enjoy that.
I think
4 is bonkers.
That is disgusting. But I think the most disgusting thing about the Calidus Assassin is the fact that some armies are just completely ruined by it because it makes their single strat.
I'd forgotten to even mention that it had Vect. Yeah. I hadn't even listed that. It also has Vect.
Yeah, I think that's just the most game-breaking part of it because it affects some armies more than others. So what I'm saying is all models with Vect should go in the bin. Drakari Archons, get in the bin.
I never remember to put mine on the ground to even use that half the time.
When you're playing a game and your opponent's like, I'm just gonna. They draw their objective cards and they're like, it's behind enemy lines, teleport. It's shit, I forgot to pick up my assassin. Do you mind if I do it? What are you gonna do? Say no?
Yes. Yeah, obviously.
Spam, you not.
No, I haven't had to. You know, in my games, the person who forgets to pick up their assassin, it's me because I don't. So I'll draw my cards and be like, would have been really good if I had this guy. I'm not going to ask. I'm going to be punished for my mistakes because how else will I learn?
Just look at them with big puppy dog eyes.
No, God, no, I don't want them to. Like, even when they offer, I'd say no because you can't be doing that. It's not on.
All right, I think it's time for a vote.
Yeah.
Get her in the bin.
Yeah.
I also vote put her in the bin. Calexis forever.
Yes.
I'm happy for the Calidus Assassin to stay.
Okay.
But it's still going in there. More appropriate than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't be downing your way out of that one.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, what should we take it next?
Tom, you're up next.
Okay, so having seen the varying tides of nostalgia on display in the chat already, I'm not optimistic of getting this one through, but Tactical Marines. They have been around for a very, very long time. Why are we still doing this? They never serve any functioning game except when they hit a point where just being cheap trash bodies, cheap trash Space Marine bodies is their use, and then you suddenly see bajillions of them in an incredibly obnoxious and irritating way. Marines in general, I feel like the whole faction's been sort of rebuilt around specializing units in particular ways, and they're this unit that's running around going, I've got a melter gun. Oh, fantastic. That'll help. And I think it's a big step. I think it's a step forwards into the future for Marines to let these silly little units go. Let this silly little trash unit go. Let it go and be in Horus Heresy, having a great time, and move forwards into the newer stuff. I think I've had enough of it. I can't stand it.
Here's the counterpoint.
Okay.
I will not let Games Workshop step on my throat. Just because you made new models and came up with a bad business model to try and get rid of the old stuff didn't account for the fact that people really liked the old stuff. I'm not here for it. I wouldn't mind them, rolling it all into one and just having like Tacticus Marines, and you can just do like your models or whatever, and you combine them in the fluff. Or I don't care about fluff in 40k. You do I don't care. It's all stupid. It's a good stupid, but it's all stupid. But I'm not going to be, Games Workshop can't take my stuff away from me. Mostly they do it, but I resent it when they do, and I shan't. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, no, you've really cleared that one up. Thank you, Rob. What are you thinking?
I've got the nostalgia side because I've got some paged up behind me. I bought 3rd edition starter box, and then my first minis. I've restored them as well.
Uh-huh.
But I think Ed's kind of turned me a bit with merging them with intercessors. If they were like a mixed set and it was one data sheet, go for it. So we'll still
we
get to
don't-
play with my toys.
So does it, where can we grade and place that response? Because is that getting rid of them?
We can get rid of them. I think we can get rid of them with that.
It's either get rid of them or don't, not a third option to hybridize them. I don't remember that being on the list.
I'm a grizzled
We
cop,
can.
and I don't play by the rules. I make my own rules.
You know what? Space Marines have 400 data sheets. Let's just kill
Well, this is the thing.
Let's kill Tactical Marines. Let's get rid of 4 other data sheets at the same time.
I can say I think you could easily put Devastators in the same category where it's it's kind
Desolation Marines.
Desolation Marines. Put them in again. Put them in again. Oh man, what do you think, Jack? What's your take?
So there are good sides to Tactical Marines. I remember the old Space Marine codexes where you would have the full chapter organization.
Yeah,
you have a set number of Tactical Marines and a set number of Assault Marines in each of the companies, and that was really cool. And people would build an entire company of Space Marines based off of it, and I think that's quite cool. They don't really have that for the current Space Marines, but I think that's held back because we still have the space the old Tactical Marines in there. So I think it's actually probably would be better to get rid of the Tactical Marines to make way for the old. It's like, when someone, I don't know if you guys have had this, but it's when someone has this really old phone with a cracked screen, like an iPhone 8, and just really refuses to just get rid of it, and they just hang on to it for years and years, and it's just absolute joke, and we all make fun of them, and that's what Tactical Marines are, right?
Yes.
They are that unit. So
they are.
Also, to Existence UK, get rid of the rhinos as well. The rhinos don't fit anymore.
Oh goodness, Marine players without rhinos be very grumpy boys. They've been.
Get rid of the Chaos ones too.
Oh, don't you
rhinos,
do that. Don't you dare! Don't you go anywhere near Chaos Rhinos. They're absolutely not about to have a moment. They're going to be just fine. They're lovely. They're lovely, and they're good, and they're fine, and they're fair.
I just want to point out that you said iPhone 8 is old.
It is old.
I guess technically, but
yeah,
that's
time's relentless march moves on, Ed.
Yeah, it's half of the iPhone's life ago.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not. It's
only barely.
2017. I just looked, so 7 years ago. Because I genuinely had a moment of, oh god, what? Because I remember, flip phones and not having a phone.
I remember having not a screen without color on it.
Oh yeah. You have a Nokia you can play Snake on.
Yeah.
6++ are young and relevant. Please continue to view and consume our opinions. We are hip and with it. How do fellow kids?
If you want to hear an old
advice,
if you want advice on mortgage repayments,
definitely don't come here.
No, absolutely don't. Absolutely don't.
I was going to say I know a guy, and the sad thing is I do know a guy. That's the most middle-aged thing I've ever said.
Right.
Yeah, I'm definitely pro getting rid of Tactical Marines because I think it stunts the growth of the other Marine range. I think the Primaris range.
I think that splicing of options has been a problem the whole time, and I think they've trimmed a few options out recently, and I think that's been okay. I've not seen a sort of marked problem coming off the back of that. So I think Matilda, obviously, rest in peace, Matilda.
I am annoyed at the
not an issue.
squatting of the Forge World stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're really cool models. I'd like to see some of them left, like at least the Leviathan Dreadnought. That's
Volkite Contemptor has just ruined that for everyone.
For me, the surprise was that the new Plastic Heresy stuff wasn't in there. That seemed like a weird. That's literally plastic kits that are all new and out there. That why not be able to take one of them in Marines for I don't know, just have the relic option. Have a limit. You can take one. You can have one.
What a new and innovative rule. I'm sure there's no way that they could have done that before. They couldn't possibly write something that smart.
No, not a chance. They don't have it in them anymore.
Probably not.
Right, are we going to vote?
We've got to keep them. It's classic.
Nah, bin them.
Put them in 101.
Bin them.
Yeah, they're in. They're in.
67% yes as well.
Really? Wow, there you go.
I thought you were my friends. The streamer call to parasocial relationships. I'm very disappointed in you personally, the viewer. You've made me sad.
Yeah. You know who we're talking about you, Ben.
over the course of that, 5-second monologue, another person voted yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad I was able to get something into Room 101 today. That's good. Good to us. Right, who's left? What we got?
Dennis, let's go.
So I also tried to go with, I went with a gimme. I went with another gimme. And I've gone for a personal choice this time around. And the man responsible for this is here. And he needs to pay for his crimes, his many, many crimes. And I want mandrakes to go in Room 101. God, I hate them so much. And I don't think you understand how much I hate them. I hated them before they were good. And that's not hipster. I was being beaten by them before they were good. And then they were good. And then they stopped being good. And at all points of this, timeline, I've been beaten by mandrakes. And it's got to stop. You can kill me with witches. You can kill me with Kabalites. You can miss your blaster shots into me. But the mandrakes have to go in the bin. It's time. I don't care they've got new models. Get rid of it.
Oh, dear.
Well,
It's
what I can say
5
is
toughness,
already-
3 wounds, mate. Yeah. It's like,
It's
come on.
5 toughness, 3 wounds. Yeah, that's such an Eldar. Oh, you're in my
It's such an
head.
other thing to say.
Yeah. Incidental shooting will pick them up. Just ruins your game.
That one that survives on that 5-up invuln.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to score me 20 points over the course of the game. It's fine.
I mean, I think realistically, it's the only interesting question here is what Jack thinks, because I don't think me and Rob are about to put our brand new mandrakes in Room 101.
I mean, I think Mandrake, when Dark Order got their redesign, I think Mandrakes were my favourite model of their new range. And I don't think the new models are better. I think I think they're actually a little bit worse in some respects.
Interesting.
That's just my opinion. But so yeah, I'm not super attached. I'm not quite sure why Mandrakes in particular have gathered Ed's ire, because
They've
there are
played
lots of
against Rob
units
for
that
3
do.
editions.
They've just stood in his way a few
They've been-
times when he's
they've
trying to
been a
go
competitive-
places.
A competitive Rob staple for 3 editions. And it's time to
Yeah,
stop.
I mean,
He can't.
this
He doesn't. He dare not put Rob in Room 101. Not yet. He needs to
No,
build.
not
He
yet.
needs,
Rob's-
he needs to.
Rob's
He needs to
party
build
night.
support.
I like spending time
He can
with Rob.
take
I
out
don't
his
like
units
spending
one
time
at a
with his
time.
mandrakes.
Yeah, I mean, they're not anywhere near as offensive as half the units in this game that do the same thing that they do.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling to justify quite so severe a punishment as Room 101 for the Mandrakes when when the Calidus didn't go in there. So
Am I allowed to ban someone from the chat? Look at this. There was one option in Yannari.
Yeah, well, this is what me and Rob are trying to save you from by keeping Wayleaper out there and in the game, right? He's the only thing standing between us and Yannari Mandrake bullshit.
just when you think Eldar players can't get any lower, they just come out with something like that. Unbelievable.
Oh dear, it's awful. It is awful.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I vote to keep Mandrakes.
I also vote to keep Mandrakes.
Yeah, I think
the chat is in your favour. And
yeah. Look, you did what you could.
I hope you all lose games to mandrakes. Everyone who voted no, all checks notes. Quick maths, 9 of you. I hope you lose games to mandrakes.
Absolutely amazing. Are we on the final one?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm to cross off some of my ones that you guys have taken. I'm I could sit here and just list off Eldar units, but I think we've been brutal enough to the Eldar players.
Yeah, I think
this
so.
podcast, so I'm not going to be quite that mean. Instead, I'm going to go for another one of these Mercy Kill units.
Yeah.
So this one is not only a unit that's basically useless. I don't think I've ever seen one played, but it's also got an atrocious model, and I can't believe anyone thought it was a good idea. And that's the Sidonian Skatros. The Walker Sniper. He is absolutely ludicrous. I showed a friend of mine. His partner is not a 40k, person. They don't know anything about it. I showed them this one. The first thing they said was, why does it have a huge dong between its legs, referring to the exhaust that's hanging down there. It looks completely ridiculous. The helmet looks stupid. The legs look stupid. The weird exhaust dong looks stupid. Its rules are terrible. You'd never take it. It's just a complete waste of time. Even when it got revealed, I remember watching that Twitch stream when it got revealed, and just the chat just erupted with like, "What the hell is that? It looks terrible." And it's just completely irredeemable, I think.
I've got a fun story about the Skatros, which is we watched Jack Doddy play against Davies Tyranids when it had first come out, and he didn't know how precision worked, and he thought it meant that you could just pick the model in the unit you were shooting at to kill. So he was shooting at like a chain of termagants or something, thinking I can kill this one, and then the whole unit's going to break to coherency. And when he was told that that's not how precision works, he was like, "Well, then this unit's useless." That was the edge case he'd found for it was, well, it can probably kill a termagant, and if I can break coherency in a unit with precision, then maybe it'll be worth something.
Imagine to justify a unit's existence by saying it can probably kill a termagant.
I'm looking at the datasheet now, and it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's a low up. Yeah,
it is a low up. It is a low up.
It has a gun, which is only one shot, but if you stand still, which you can do because it's a lone op, heavy in precision, so you'll be hitting on 2s. Anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4+, in case you don't have any, characters to snipe out. But also, if you're targeting a infantry unit, you can re-roll the wound. Or if you're, no, it's the big gun that re-rolls the wounds of monster vehicles. You can just chip wounds, or you can just hit characters kind of hard.
So what's the damage on it?
D3.
So on average, if you shoot every turn of the game into a monster or vehicle, you don't kill it.
No. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not saying that you kill monster vehicles. It's just the better gun out of the. Oh, to be fair, actually, the anti-infantry one is anti-infantry 3+ heavy precision, flat 3 damage.
That's a lot more workable. That's something.
Yeah.
Maybe if you
And
had
you reroll
3
the
of them.
Make a Calidus though.
Well, because that's in Room 101, isn't it? So
yeah, and also the Calidus doesn't have a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Oh, for the low up. Sorry, I'm with you.
It has a Vect and it has an Uppy Downy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this has neither
I
of
would
those.
be interested to see what 3 of them stood at the back sniping at things did, Ed. I'm guessing not much, but you never know.
12 assassinate
Well,
points.
they force battle shocks as well.
Yeah.
There's enough.
Do they? They force. I need them. We need battle shocks.
They force. There's just enough rules on there that I'm like, maybe.
Okay.
And I think
Adeptus Mechanicus Stockholm syndrome you've got going.
Yeah.
I did with John go through the entire codex for 6 weeks, and during that time you kind of become the equilibrium sort of kicks in, and you're like, things that are bad outside of the book become like, I could put 3 of these in a list, and that's kind of interesting. There's something you can do here. And of course, if you never compare it to anything other than other AdMech units, it's fine. But I genuinely think if AdMech become playable, someone's going to play 2 of these and going to do all right, and then enough, they'll be picked up. I think that's my hot take.
Sure.
I think that when AdMech become playable, these things get an actual look in.
So my problem with it is that AdMech don't need more cheap garbage. They've already got enough cheap garbage.
Yes, but their cheap garbage dies to a flashlight, and this doesn't.
I mean, it still does. You just have to get within 12.
Yeah, that's hard to do. They can fill the board with bodies.
The other thing is, it doesn't really synergize with any of the detachments at all, or the army.
That's fine.
Role.
Neither do any of their data sheets.
Fair enough, actually.
For some reason, I found love in this weird 65-point lone op stupid character. And that means I can come up with any argument, no matter whether it's right or not.
You all better get ready. Get ready for EdMech because it's coming. EdMech is coming soon.
Oh God,
it's ugly. It's just ugly. I'm sorry.
You know what? I think I'm one of
I'll
the
give
only
it that one.
people who actually like the model. It's so Blanchett, just stupid. I feel like if I'm reading a Horus Heresy book, that guy would be standing in the background, just doing something.
I do know what you mean. I don't mind a silly model.
He's just
I really
standing
don't.
there ominously.
I think I get what you mean from like the idea of the model. I just think the legs are so bad. I think it's executed poorly in that style.
Yeah,
I could
100%.
like I'd rather see actual legs with like stilts that you're strapped to. I think that would be way more like 40k. I could get on board with that, I think.
Yeah, like the stilt walkers in Mad Max that are in the background of that one scene, that were really cool looking. Like that could have been more in that direction,
Yeah.
and instead it just looks like goofy, because
Yeah.
like no one could walk on those stilts. Like it just can't be like completely non-functional.
I do want to say before we go to the vote. Oh, I've gone.
I thought you just fell off your chair.
So I'm not going to fix it. It's way funnier to just be off screen.
He's a lone operative.
That looked like you fell to the ground, Ed. Is that what happened?
Yeah, let's go with that. No, I've got a streamer setup, and by that I mean I'm using a Tyranid Combat Patrol on top of my PC screens to get a better angle for where I rest my webcam. So yeah, that's.
What's your plan here? Do you want to remain anonymous for the time being?
No, I'll fix it in a second.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, God, what was I saying before that? I'm sure there was something. Oh, it's all paled in comparison to falling out of the sky.
Right, let's take a vote. Let's get stilt legs sorted. I'm inclined to keep it, although it is silly. I don't think it needs to go just yet. It's only just a run.
I want to keep him. AdMech stuff is silly, and it should be.
Yeah.
I want someone to convert a nice one up, but I've gaslit myself into thinking that this unit might be worth taking at some point. So, I think it stays.
I still think it needs to go in there.
Well, I didn't do a poll. I'm going to do it now. Silly stilt man.
You, the listener, can decide the fate of the Scatros.
You can't. We've voted 3-1.
I mean, you can't. But look, the illusion of agency is very important in these things, I think. So do feel free to have it. Okay, right. That is us. I think that's us done.
3 rounds seems good.
3 rounds feels good because we want to keep this coming back and we want to keep it fresh. So that was a lot of fun. I'll have to think about what we're going to do for the next 101. But thank you, Jack, very much for, as ever, coming up with the goods and getting us through that one. Very, very enjoyable. Are there particular things you, the listener, would like us to do 101 on? Are there thinking in terms of themes or categories for it? Do let us know in the chat and we will endeavour to make it in the future. We're now going to move on. We're going to do some podcast questions before we wrap up. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you very much for like and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do that. It means a lot to us and helps all those numbers look good and happy. We're going to take it to the podcast questions. Obviously, you can chuck questions in the chat as we go, and you are very welcome, of course, to leave a super chat there as well, and we will endeavour to give you the very best of answers to that. I'm going to work backwards through the podcast questions because I quite like the first one, which is from Will Lovell, who says, how many fake accounts will Ed make to hit 1,000 subs in 6 months?
999. Next question.
Yeah. Man does what it takes, always has done. That's not even a question. But in all seriousness, he's just growing it by making really good content on a regular basis.
No. I grew it by hitting up all my friends and family to get that initial seed and posting religiously.
Yes.
I'm going to get banned from all of the subreddits, I think. So I'm trying to diversify a little bit and not just.
That's the bit. That's the whole bit. That's the bit I find most exhausting. Just the relentless kind of sharing bits and bobs around. But it's so important. Right. Okay. Next question. Will Steele Jeans asks an entirely hypothetical question. What are the pros and cons of having a top competitive player as an influential member of the game balancing team? I don't think there's cons. I mean, does anyone think there's cons? I think there's only pros.
The cons is people get salty and be like, oh, but he's not nerfing his army.
I think the only con is the negative visibility for him. To be honest, that's the main concern I have going forwards. Is that I think there's a risk with that. So let's think about some pros. The pros are, as far as I can see, that we've got much more fine-tooth, thoughtful balancing over a particular range of armies. I don't think we've had it applied across the board. I think we've seen data slates where they've been a bit lumpy and patchy, and we've not seen everything exactly as sort of carefully applied as it might have been. But I think we've seen a sort of care and attention to detail with certain changes in balanced data slates and other things that have been really, really, really good. And I think that's a massive plus of it. I don't know what you guys think.
It's a massive positive. Right?
Yeah.
What else? What else do you want? But one of the top players telling the people writing the game what's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Can't see any bad downsides to that.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see. I think the benefit would be that, you do get the. We can see, like we said this on the Data Slate show. It seems as though, like half the faction, or a third of the factions were done by one person, a third of the factions were done by another, and a third by the guy that was on holiday because there's no changes. And it almost the con there is almost that it makes the other changes look worse.
Yeah,
because the changes
I agree.
to some of these armies are so good. And here's the thing: we have absolutely no proof that that's the case. We don't even know like what he's done or what he's not. But it's created this like narrative, right? Because people are always going to create their own story in their head. So it's. I think the biggest con is that it creates a narrative and a story, and that is basically unverifiable, right? It doesn't just affect his an individual who would do that's reputation. It would also hit the sort of reputation of the Games Workshop rules team in general, like whatever that would be.
And to an extent, there's a sort of parasocial dimension to that, isn't there? We're kind of projecting ideas about what's going on and who's doing what and everything else, which is not great. Maybe they need more, though. Maybe just 2 or 3 more very high standard players being involved would be a very good thing, and then it's less on one person. So, moving into the next one. Thoughts on the rumors of some faction mergers coming. Deathwatch into Imperial Agents as a new faction, as an example. I mean, that sounds fine. Don't mind that. I think there's more exciting factions to come out than Imperial Agents, but I always like the Inquisition are good fun, aren't they? They're quite weird and loopy, and that appeals to me.
I like an excuse to get rid of knights from the game. It'd be a good one to do that. And any excuse to do like less ally nonsense in the game is good to me as well. If it's like its own faction, I mean, that can justify not putting stuff in as like silly little allies, I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I love that some factions get to have allies and some just don't. That's a great way to balance your game. Yeah, I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. A lot of people have told me that it's true, and I just don't believe it is. We'll see.
Okie dokie. Next up, we have...
Going backwards is hard.
No, I'm really good at this. Warpmaster Luke, shout out to Luke, who indeed beat a bunch of 6++s on his way to, I think, winning the Saffron Slam at the weekend. I think that was him. But he wants to know, what would it take for Bloodletters and Demonettes to be viable, except points changes?
Points changes.
I mean, Luke, you're going to know this better than we are, aren't you? You're the one running them around, or not? Bloodletters never have enough attacks. I always feel like every edition they don't quite have enough attacks. That's the thing I'd give them. I think they just need one more on the datasheet, and then suddenly they're a relevant unit.
Or like an obviously old world, funny man play old game. Furious Charge, we get +1 attack on the charge.
Yeah,
or some equivalent.
That would do it. Yeah, that would do it. And it might be that they'll both thrive more in a detachment catered to their particular Chaos God in a book down the line, right?
The core detachment has to have like +1 attack.
That's got to be, yeah. And then once you're cooking with a Renmaster and other buffs, there's stuff you can do there for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're bad. I think they're just the alternative options are so much better in the demon book. Like, because there's like a very small list of good demon units, and then everything else is like kind of meh. And I think they just kind of fall into that category. There's nothing inherently wrong with them. They're just kind of Bloodletters in particular are a glass cannon. Yeah. But it's not so much of a cannon. It's more of a t-shirt cannon than an actual real cannon.
I like that.
And then Demonettes are very cool. They probably just need like a little bit of AP just to make them unique and just make them the AP
Yeah.
Kelly unit.
They had that last edition, and they were
AP.
great. They were really good. When you just chuck out a high AP damage one, and that puts them in a really nice place in the game.
Give them back advance and charge as well. They used to be terrifying when you played 60 of them and suddenly they're in your lines turn 1 or 2.
I know if Lee Jones is listening, that will be music to his ears because he loves the old Slaanesh demons.
There's so many demon characters. They could give them that rule, right?
Yeah, I don't think there is. I have played around with Demonettes in 10th edition as an ally for Chaos Knights.
Mm.
My mate Craig was looking at options. He was talking to oh god, my brain's turned off. Mark Pilkington, who is obviously very, very good, was playing a little bit of Chaos Knights at the time, and they were theory crafting some Demonettes, so we gave that a spin. You can put Shalaxi in with Demonettes.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Fun.
'Cause you just get hit rerolls if you've got Demonettes. And so Shalaxi with hit rerolls is just nice. And I think Shalaxi buffs the squad as well, gives them dev wounds or like extra crit wounds, something like that.
They have dev wounds built in. Yeah,
I think it's dev wounds on 5s from memory. So I think there's some interesting play there. I think, yeah, it's going to be detachment bonus, but also just like a point each, down to 100 for 10.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, both units I suspect in a future Demons book will be much more functional. Brainseller asks, should GW just legends all flyers to avoid having to try to balance them?
No,
I don't like flyers. I don't like flyers in the game at all. I think they should be going at the same time as indirect. But that's an interaction point of view though. I just don't find it enjoyable to play with or against.
I feel like they've found a reasonable spot this time.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't disagree, but I think the 10th edition rules are like enough of a handicap that it's hard to have a good flyer.
Yeah.
So I'm like with you on principle, but I think it doesn't need to happen.
Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like they've kind of found that spot where it's like they pop up now and again. Occasionally a Drakari player loses a bunch of games with Void Raven Bombers. And occasionally, what else do people try? I mean, the Tau one, does that ever pop up, Jack? People try the Tau one?
Not really. I mean, it's like I've used it. It's one of those things where you wouldn't use it in Tau specifically because you already have a bunch of guns that do the same thing that it does.
Yeah.
So it's like a unit. It's not necessarily a problem with the flyer; it's a problem with the gun that it has.
Sure.
I think,
but for me, I think the flyers should just all have the hover rule and ignore terrain for movement. And then that's the only change they need, I think.
Yeah, so they can start on the board that way, but they have to hover. Yeah.
Well, and the terrain, the line of sight bullshit can go away. They can just have the same line of sight as everyone else.
Yeah.
The WTC having infinitely tall buildings that means that you're not going to see it at any like teams events or anything. So that's already kind of just taken a chunk out of it, especially for all the players at this portion of the year where they're going, oh, God, what am I going to take to WTC? Better get
what about a flyer?
Yeah. Oh no, because it literally can't move.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I feel like they've been relegated to enough of a minor place, and presumably they'll accidentally forget how to balance them in like 11th edition, and we'll see them all again. Okay, then we have same question, but fortifications. Is there any reason they are still in the game in any format, given you never ever see them? What would it take for you to run one? Is the follow-up question.
I personally wouldn't run one because I think they're lame. But they have to exist because if they don't, then that super cool enhancement for Chaos Space Marines that's just been revealed with anti-fortification 4+ would be totally useless if they weren't in the game. So
here's my counterpoint. I won a WTC Teams practice event with a fortification. And on that basis, it has to stay. The fortification was the Spore Assist.
Wow, nice.
So, because I was subbing, you're not allowed fortifications in WTC. I just told them what I had, and they're like, we'll just check if you're allowed to use this because you're a sub 2 days before the event. So I made a load of like international practice players play against my spore bullshit in 9th edition. They're just like, yeah, so turns out what's really good is I can just make loads of spores and put them in front of you, and like, cool. That's the only like plus I have for it.
They definitely have sort of moment in the sun potential, right? I think there's been a couple, like the Webway Gate in 9th was genuinely good. It wasn't like it wasn't the best choice, but that wasn't bad. That there was some cool stuff with that.
But you saying that's made me go, maybe we should get rid of it, because remember how everyone was like, "Oh, I'm just going to deploy them next to each other."
Oh,
And
those people all need to go to Argentina. You know.
Let's not have calls to action.
But yeah, I think the Webway Gate was all right. The Death Guard one has always been sort of good or fine. And then the Nurgle Demon's Tree, the Feculent Narwhal.
Oh, that was so annoying.
That, for a moment there, was incredibly obnoxious. Shout out to the GSC Tectonic Frag Drill, which I bought, which doesn't even have rules anymore. Used to be a cool drill that would like shake the ground a bit. Doesn't exist now.
Wasn't there the Guard one at the start of the edition that could heroic intervene as well?
Yes.
It was...
And the Tide Wall. Don't forget the Tide Wall for the Tau Jack. That's a whole thing.
Yeah, they definitely are a fortification that do a thing, apparently. Allegedly.
Oh, man. Okay. I don't think we're going to get fortifications up in the standings today. I don't think that's going to be happening.
We can't even balance the regular train. I don't have much hope for fortifications.
Yeah, that's very fair. All right. I think that takes us to the end of the show. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. This has obviously been 40k Room 101. We will see you all again next time out. I believe we're going to be talking events and TO standards, and I know that the lovely Lewis Elms is intended to be on for that. So we will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.